We always have engagement of all people who involved in volunteering, also millions in number, and how we do it, where we like, archipelagos country, like we are islands basically, which is really challenging actually, to bring and to data the people. So we try to create a system where we can count the people as accurate as we can. Okay, let me see. So this year we have 4 million, 4.1 each people. It's slightly decreased, like half of what we meant. I mean, we aim for like 13 million, but unfortunately, because of the situations, we have to compromise. So still good. And then, okay, this is how we do it. So basically, what we do actually is not about like how good our registration system. I mean, everything have to be like aligned, but we do it step by step. So I will explain the overall flow, how we do it. So basically, we have like a lot of informations that came from HQ, and then we say the Indonesia, like WCD Indonesia, and then the provinces, and then the regency. So we always make sure what informations that we receive from each quarter HQ also being received all the way to the grassroots. So people from from the villages, and I'm from Jakarta, from the capital city, everyone have the same information. That's really important. That's number one thing. So basically, we always have like a regional meetings to align all of our information packages that we create in the national system. That's first. And then when we have that information, let's say about the cleanup, about the program, about the visions, mission, what we're gonna do. So we all have all the information package in like G Drive or Dropbox. And then we share with the whole nationwide networks, that first. And then once it's designed and then we finalize it, then we start to branch out, like we spread the informations. And first, we always, this is really important, find the most powerful people in your country, let's say president or ministers. So that's really important because they're the one who have the authority to engage more people. Like they have the power to move people, like to command the local governors, the local government, the mayors, to also engage in our activities. And then the next one is the influential people, like celebrity, ambassador, singers, those kind of people who like environmental activists, etc. Those people also we bring, we share the informations first, and then the regional teams, like we share, and then basically all these informations is not only about registration but all the information. And then the government who has the power, they instruct, especially we work with the two ministers. So the Minister of the Maritime and Affairs and Investment, and then the other one is the Minister of Environmental. So the one that actually really help us is from the Minister of the Forestry and Environment, because the letter was created by the minister directly. She command the entire nationwide. So in every city, in every province, every village, they have these people who collecting garbage, who the one who cleaning the city, those kind of people. And so she instructed every governor, every mayor, every the people who involved with the waste system must not must, but highly recommended to participate with the WCD activities, the working of the activities. And that's how we align the information first, what's the day and how many people, and also they collaborate with the local provinces team, because they are the one who engage directly with the local environmental services people. Oh no. Don't die yet, okay.
By the way, Andy, I just started to search for the power cord for my computer, because I noticed that the battery is starting to go low.
Oh, okay, it's okay. I'm all good. It's just the connecting is slightly loose. And then all those informations, when the government passed down to the local government and the environmental services people, they have the informations. Three of us, the government, the influential people, or the public figures, and the regional teams also spread out all these informations toward the citizen and other communities, other NGOs. All the information packages that include everything: the how to clean up, what you should do, the concept about health, and also how to register. So yeah, I'm particularly more focused to how to the registration system. And then after that, after they register, they start to clean up. And then after clean up, the environmental service people who collecting the waste, they collect the data, like how many waste that being collected to be weighed. So we can calculate the data for the waste. And then our local regional teams, they're the one who calculate the volunteering data either from online. They mostly do offline. The national teams, the one who do the online. Wait, hold on. Wait, is it stop sharing?
Yes, we lost your presentation.
Hold on. Am I back?
Not yet. Probably you should share the screen again.
I think I should start to reshare again. Hold on. Wait, how come it's
starting up.
Okay, it go back in. Okay, sorry guys. And okay, first I will explain how the registration system or this information package being sent out. So all the informations with particularly the registration system also sent out to the minister, and they also make the video about it, like, okay, you guys, like short videos, like 1 minute videos, the governor, the minister, like saying, if you guys want to participate in this movement, you guys should click this link and go to this, find this person. So basically they're mentioning like sort of like a template that they need to do. So a lot of people watching it. So yeah, everyone should really work well with the government, because they're the one who can make things really easy and make things really big and massive. So yeah. And then the next one is, how come it doesn't want to go next? Okay. The next one is involve all people. Like if you have all these informations, like the registration system, like either you already created the information, spread it all out, like towards the national, the NGOs who everywhere. This is just the national communities, and also you can spread out to the influencers and all the media, etc., etc. And okay, so registration system, we have mostly doing it online. Sorry, this is in Bahasa, but I will explain in English. So basically we created like a sort of like a really simple and precise universal guidance booklet that can be easily understand and being read by everyone. So you have to find the right words. Don't offer complicated with, the polyethylene or like, all these technical waste, plastic or, like styrofoam or like these type of waste, PE, people are not gonna get it. So you have to find a language that really basic. So everyone's who read it, even like kids or children from elementary school, they also understand like what this is about. So we created like only, this is actually story template, the one that I share. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 7 pages, something like that. Basically, it's saying like 6 steps, easy way to do cleanup, which is also including like how to register. So the number 1 you can see is like get ready for cleanup, and then it's saying like the website link, but this is only for the people who being directed access from the online portal. I will explain what Indonesia's online portals look like. And then the second one is basically like showing like if you want to participate the cleanup, you should bring wear what attire. And then when you go to the when you find the persons who what is it, the leader who led the cleanup on each spot, yeah, you have to contact that person. You have to confirm with the person, the place, the time, and everything. So we basically instruct them that make sure the people who want to do clean up, they get the right time and everything's updated. And then we also explain like number 3, number 4, like the type of waste, the baggages that you've been provided, maybe like 3 different type, like organic, non-organic, and then residual waste. And we simplify the explanation of what of this waste actually looks like, and then what you should not pick up, what you should pick up. And after that, you bring the garbage towards the waiting station, so we can register that number towards our database. So that's basically how we actually doing it. So, but this is from, how to say it? This information is shared like to everyone, but actually because we not only rely from our internal network, so we actually, like I would say, like even almost 90% of our numbers actually come from local communities, local NGOs, and they are actually the one who go really going down to the street, to the forest, to the oceans, and everything directly. So this is just the basic template that they can follow, but actually everyone's doing slightly different, but sort of like we meet in the halfway, basically, because we already created this simple instruction that they can follow. And so this type of things is really important to be created at first before even doing the registration, things. And then next, I will explain. So Indonesia actually have we have our own online registration system. We don't have the website actually. We actually don't own the website. The people who own this website is our national partner who've been working with Let's Do It Indonesia since 2018. And it's called Indo Relawan. Indo Relawan, basically, if it's translated in English, it means Indonesia Volunteers. So basically, this is a platform or website, the largest Indonesian website to how to say, to gather all the people who are interested towards volunteerism activities. Basically, that's what it is. So we work, we team up with them. And we basically spread out to all the people. Usually this type, so Indonesia is, it's not like developed countries. So what I show in my, what I show today doesn't mean that your country have to do what I say, because every country have your own unique situation that you have to justify what's the best practice or what's the best way for your country. But for us, actually, our country, just about people just in the future starting using internet, and so actually not a lot of people using online system. Most people using the offline, the one that I explained first. They just contact the people, they call them, join the WhatsApp group, and then or they join and then they just bring their neighbors or friends directly go to the locations. That's what actually happened. That's like 90% or even 95%. And the rest people who actually doing this online kind of thing is the one who like millennials or like generation the newest one, the younger kids of the people from the big cities who really know well how to navigate using website. So basically youngsters who the one using the online system. But most people like housewives or local people. Oh no, my laptop's died. It's okay. Let's use the last slide.
But we still see your slides.
Huh? Because I'm using to monitor, so it's already died, that one.
Okay.
But this is on the last slide anyway. So basically, yeah, we have to adjust which one is the best, but actually there's so many, not many ways, but we only have two ways, which is offline and online way of doing it. Actually, it's really simple. Basically, what lies upon the registration system so powerful and so accurate and so detailed. Actually, our database also really detailed. Like we count every single people or like every single kilograms of it, even like until grams. So we try to be accurate as we can. And it happens is because we have a really, the one that I mentioned before, really strong team, and we really align all of our informations and make sure all of our informations that they receive is the same. So everyone have the same form, everyone have the same technique, everyone have the same way to do the registration or to do the counting the data and stuff like that. And that's really important because if you create it like in your national create like info packages, but you let it out and not really instruct the local teams to do exactly what you created, is gonna be a mess. And people lost informations, they like misinterpreted or something. So we have to really make sure what being shown in the booklet, and then make sure in the field or on the day they really follow what's being instructed. Because if a lot of people miss out, they like forget to count the waste or forget to register the people show up but they didn't count. That sort of things can happen on the day. So we have to really make sure those things being received well, so they know exactly what to do. I'm not saying we like 100% like totally count everyone. I'm sure actually in the real world, in the day, I'm sure there are some people still miscount or didn't count the people. It happens, but we quite positive that 90% it's counted, like it's registered and everything's counted in our database. So yeah, that's all. That's basically how Indonesia registration system work. Hopefully I explain it in the most simple way, not over complicated things. And yeah, if you guys have questions, maybe in the end of the session we can discuss or if you guys have any questions, I will try my best to answer any question that I will receive. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andy. This was really interesting, and you are doing really amazing job, because it's really not easy to engage and also register and sign up really millions of people, even tens of millions, because for Indonesia, it seems that sky is the limit, because despite you have one of the biggest populations, you also have a really impressive number in terms of population engaged altogether. You are one of the highest. So you are one of the best success stories in the network. But as Andy said, do you have questions to him? You can open up your microphones and ask. Or any thoughts?
Yes. Hello. Do you hear me?
Hello, Liz.
Yeah. Hi.
Yes.
So what I wanted to know is, you mentioned that you have a registration form, which is not yours. It's another platform, or did I misunderstand it?
For the registration form, but actually, Liz, where you come from?
Sorry, I'm from Austria. Yeah, the issue is, like, I have a very bad connection. Every time I turn on my camera, I'm gone. That's why I can't turn it on right now.
So you're from Austria?
Yes.
Okay. We have form, actually. We do have forms. It's like Excel type of form. Like, we create like names, and then the cities, how many kilograms, or maybe not cities, like, let's say schools or groups of people. So basically one people, there's a core team, right, in each region or each cities. So there's one people who always in charge that numbers. Like, they have to make sure how many people registered and how much waste being collected. So there's every cities have, or even the local, not even cities, like regencies or like in district level or even villages. There always someone who makes sure that they counted the people and registered because Indonesia, not all people, like, in developed country, you guys really precise. Everything have to be like, type in laptop and so on. So actually, in national team or even in a province team, they have slightly headache. Is because I will explain. We have to compile the data. So some people, they write it on the paper, and they take the photos and they send to the province leaders. And some people, they type it in, and it's like everyone doing their own way, but they try their best of their own way to give the numbers. And then the people from the province or the local leaders, they're the one who collected all the data and type it in the Excel and send it to us, to the national team. So that's how it actually works. The form, we actually send it out to everyone, but not everyone wants to fill it. They just want to do it their own way, but at least they send us. They just write it down on paper or something like that, or just even type it in like WhatsApp group. So we the one who have sometimes, the local leaders, they're the one who actually have to really compile and type it in and send it to us. Is that answering your question? I hope that's
yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you tell, Andy, how many people you have in the office handling all those data coming in, all those information on paper, all those local reports?
Depends on which level. If it definitely the least is national teams, because national teams only have less than even 5 people who doing the collecting the data from the provinces. But actually the one who have the most team definitely is on the regencies level, because it's under provinces, and then in under provinces it breaks down to 20 or even more than 30 regencies, and each regency have its own database people who in charge of the information. So it's like pyramid. So everyone like works from the bottom, and then they just collecting, and then the regencies level compiling, and then all this regencies information up and go to the next level and being compiled by the registration and the database team in the province level. And then after that, from the 34 provinces of Indonesia, it goes, send it all to us. So we all, it's easy actually for us because we're only doing the 34 provinces, and we just need to like, push them and call them and follow up. But if they need help, we go down directly to the local team. But most of the time they do one doing the job really well, and the one who have the most headache is the provinces and the regencies team, because they have like hundreds, thousands of people they have to count. Yeah. Actually a lot. If you ask me the numbers of how many people in the regencies level who they make, I would say like 500-ish.
So
Yeah.
But
yeah, a lot.
But if you compare it with the country size, then it's reasonable.
Yeah, it's still actually it's not even like the whole like regencies yet. It's only like maybe like 40%. So yeah, still it seems a lot, but actually if because Indonesia is like really big, like we have hundreds millions of population. So we don't even, this year we're not even reaching like 3% of our target, so still not enough actually.
Okay. But Andy and also other people, what do you think, or how you evaluate how important is today social media in terms of creating events and involving all the people to the cleanup events in your countries?
Yes, actually, the one that I explained all these registrations and all these things is not my division. Actually, I work in the PR marketing, but the coordinator, he couldn't speak English, so I in charge. Actually, I in charging in Indonesia team most of the time is the social media actually. So I'm the one who spread out all this information out to the public, and especially the social media and Instagram. So it's really important, because nowadays, everyone play Instagram, especially Indonesia. So, but I couldn't say that this is the best way for your country. It's because you have to look at what's the best for your country. Let's say, what is it?
I think we lost Andy, or yes, Liz?
Okay, I back in. I just got kicked out for a couple of seconds. Yeah, so you have to find before you jump into like, because Andy or Indonesia use Instagram, so I have to use Instagram. No. If your best platform is Twitter, then use Twitter. Don't use Instagram. Actually, Indonesia have a lot, but I just choose one because I cannot do like 5 because it wouldn't be effective. So I only focus. I mean, we all have all 5. Actually, we have all those 5 accounts in all spread out all the social media network. But I most of the time I focus all my energy in Instagram because that's the one that being used the most. And we also campaign all the important information such as information packages, how to register, how to be a volunteer, how to join the WCD, all in that highlight bubbles. So it's really practical and really efficient for how we use it to to spread all the informations, like the tutorial, let's say how to do the registration. Also, we put it up there, and yeah, for us, the best it's still Instagram. But maybe in the next couple of years, maybe it will gonna be replaced by TikTok because of the pandemic. TikTok's going really, really big. So we have maybe to find a way to also using that to promote WCD. So we have to being innovative all the time.
So, and also TikTok could be a really good channel to fight for the digital waste as well. So people can film up millions of gigabytes of videos how they are cleaning the world, and then they can delete them all. Sorry, I think somebody wanted to...
People like to do all these crazy...
Yes, I think somebody wanted to comment.
Any more questions? Oh, yeah, come in. Sure.
Okay. Share again.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, my name is Santi. Part of your team as well. So, and I think this is interesting because we know that most of your explanation is more on the technical, administrational, operational things that the Indonesian team is doing. More on top of that, we know that it really takes time on compiling and doing some administration and gaining of volunteers itself. So sometimes some of us maybe lost motivation while we're doing this because we want to do something more productive rather than just doing some administrative things, right? So my question is, do you have any small message or any motivation for us regarding to do this? We know that volunteering is kind of activity that's not non-profitable as well. So what's your opinion about it? Thank you.
Well, yeah, I know it's really challenging to do this kind of work. It can be seem dire or maybe boring sometimes. So I know you from the national team, but maybe if you know Sapti is also here. She's in the Central Java team, and I'm sure she find a way to make it fun. Maybe they're doing barbecue while doing the database or doing the registration meeting, I'm sure, or doing something fun together. So I mean, I know I explaining all these things sounds really technical and serious and stuff, but each of us have to find a way to make it fun, to make it more enjoyable, not being too stressed. I know we stress because it's not easy task, but make it less stressed, right?
I can comment from the headquarters point of view, but for the organizers, it will be always quite a lot of stress. We cannot do anything about it. But for the volunteers, for them, this is just one day. They can go out for 3 hours, collect their waste. They can have fun. Yeah. They can post it. They can have all the fame posted to the Instagram, have a TikTok videos, have fun. And I think this is one of the big challenges, how to make the registration system also giving the information back for them, how they can, for example, get interesting citizen science. They can fill in how much waste they picked, what kind of waste they picked, and they can also see what others are doing at the same time. So they can see how this big pile of waste is virtually coming together. So this is one of the things that could be like the motivation for them to enter the data and see how it really moves the world and how it changes it. So this could be one of the challenges.
Yeah.
But any more comments or ideas or reflections?
Maybe I would say some other things. I know Indonesia seems like, you know, the big number or so. I would also say we found a lot of challenges that we have, and I think the next things that we really need to improve. The next things that we really need to improve is solidify our team even further. It's because I know in the outside, like comparing, like I know people comparing things, but like people say, wow, Indonesia's team is already so strong, but for us, it's not enough. It's because to make this even like more deeper and more, you know, like down there, being like really grounding down there, is have a really strong team. It's because all this registration system, that doesn't matter like how good your system is, if no one's like really working down there and no one's really like, you know, you have a really strong team, a really strong coordinator, people that really trustworthy, and all this, you know, togetherness and family and stuff like that. And it's not there, all these things not gonna work, even though you have the best registration system that you can do it. So you, before all of this, I would really suggest make a really strong team. Find the right people. Find the people who really believe in what, you know, we do, and who have the same vision of mission of what the future is gonna be. And that's like the number one of everything. Not even like in our division of like, you know, registration things only, but it's all and every aspect that we do, you know, in PR, in finance department, partnership departments, and yeah, and everything, and that's the core. So we have to do that first, because registration is just like tiny bits of everything, because the chart, the things that I explained actually is like combinations of everyone's work. You know, it's not only the registration or the database department, but it's a work from the PR and marketing also. It's a work from the knowledge team. It's also the work of the people from the regencies, from the provinces, all together. All this team have to be strong together. So you cannot have like a strong national team, but weak regencies or provinces team. So if you only have like strong national team, then it will be just small. You only can, you know, register and participate maybe in your capital city, or maybe in the where the national teams is. So if you want to make it really big and register like millions of people, you have to be like a copy machine, like making babies or making not babies, sorry, that's a bad example. Making cloning your system, or cloning your system, and you create this system that easily applied by the people who still new, and they see, and you give example, they're like, oh, I understand, I can apply this easily in my city. And that's what we do. So we copy as many as we can, all these people in all levels. So that's how the registrations become more efficient and more, you know, better, more accurate, and also, yeah, everything's like aligned, like really synchronized and aligned.
Actually, Andy, I really much like one of the points you brought out, that this is the marketing point of view, because I really feel that technically the registrational system, this can be like one technical thing that can be embedded to any kind of network, like 3 easy questions: who you are, where you're from, and so on. But technically, this can be effective only with really good marketing, to bring the message to the people why it's important to register, why it's important to give us back the data, and what they're there about to get back from it. So this is actually the really biggest challenge we are facing: how to make it cool and how to make it fun.
Wow. So I always say this in the perspective of Indonesia. So you have to find things that what your people really like what your people really like, bring them like fire, you know, like, oh, we have to be like this, we have to be like competitive, let's do this, you know, that have that spirit. So let's say, like, I would say Indonesia is quite nationalist, like love our country, like we're really proud of our country. I know, like, we're not good in a lot of aspects, but we are so proud of the things that we're good at. So what I found amongst the volunteers people and the Indonesians people who really doing this, they always really proud of like what they achieve. So that's also bring up the people spirit. They're like, oh, I want to join because, you know, participate like Indonesia used to, because we know Indonesia is like after China, you know, that means I think everyone's in the network knows these informations that China is number one and Indonesia is number two, the most country who, you know, polluting the oceans with the plastic. So all these Indonesian people, they're like, oh my God, we need to clean up that name. We don't want to be that, you know, the most polluting countries anymore. So we try to clean up their name. So we try our best, like, you know, let's clean our name, not being the second most polluting or sending plastics towards the oceans anymore. So, you know, all these youngsters, they know that information. So that's how we get the people to like, okay, let's do this and let's clean up our name. So we're not being that, you know, always being known for the one who producing plastic all the time. So that's how it works in our country, and that's what my strategy of marketing it. So I always show people who, like, you know, maybe like a housewife or like kids or whoever, that if they like throwing garbage on the street and somehow media or random people caught the people who do the bad things, I always repost it. I always repost it. Don't do this, you know. So that's always get a lot of views, always get a lot of engagement because that sort of things. Because I kind of know like what my countries need, what they want to see and what they don't want to see and what they want to change. So because we are a developing country, I'm sure all of you who from different countries, some can relate to me and some not, because maybe your country is already developed and you have a really nice, your general populations is already quite aware how to sort your waste, have a really good waste facilities like waste management in your country, whereas our country is like really bad. So we can rely in that aspect. So we have to really find our way to do this. So I couldn't say on the behalf of developed countries who already have like a really good, you know, recycling or waste management system, because we don't have that experience here. Maybe in the next 30 years or 20 years. But now that's how we do it. So we more focusing on individual people, like what we can do when the facility is not even there yet. So prepare from each one of you. So
Actually,
that's the strategy that we go.
Yeah, actually, I don't see at all that you and or the countries, other countries, so-called developing countries, should be ashamed of their waste problem, because actually, in behind of this, there is quite a big responsibility of international corporations and also so-called developed or much wealthier countries, because they are behind actually the problem. They have introduced all the plastics you struggle with, and actually if the international corporations, they introduce all the waste they have, or plastics or packaging or whatever, they also should be responsible in all countries that this packaging or their waste will be also collected. Because they are technically creating the problem, and also they should be one of the parts to help to solve it. Because, for example, in many African countries, there are huge problems that international companies, they are selling different things in very small quantities, packed everyone into plastic, simply because people cannot simply afford to buy bigger packages. And then they buy like hundreds of smaller ones, and introducing very small pieces of waste. But they don't think at all how to collect it. And this is one of the big problems where I think the world needs to keep up their minds and help to introduce the systems, and also help some countries to reach the level, and also to help introduce waste collecting systems.
Yep.
It's not the place where it's fair to point fingers.
Yeah, no. Actually, we also have the similar situation maybe as all those African countries, because we developing countries definitely, and Indonesia is archipelago. Like, how are you gonna spread all these products? It all have to be in small packaging and packages and every boxes and stuff like that to be delivered to all these islands, you know. So yeah, like I always the person who never blame even the packaging itself, because I always see plastic or whatever that thing is, like single use. I always have a neutral views of it. I know a lot of people have a different views. They're like totally against single use, but I a person who always promote neutrality, because we couldn't blame the things. It's back to the individuals, the people, like how wise you know utilize and use it, or because not all things can use, you know, like banana leaf to wrap it. It's not hygienic. Like, it's not hygiene, because you can't do everything in that way. It have to be, you know, sometimes things just have so far have to be used in a single use for now, because we haven't found the most, you know, two things that replace it, and we couldn't force it, because when we force it, people just don't want to follow it, because people find it not reasonable to do it. So we have to find a way that is really reasonable, so people want to do it, because, you know, this country, developing countries, not all people highly educated, and we have to, you know, bridge them, like why you need to stop throwing things, and why you need to like join and register towards this kind of activities. Maybe you're sick of your countries, everyone's throwing garbage all the time, so you don't want to start, you know, doing all these kind of things. And I think that's the most important, rather than for us, rather than keep focusing, you know, all these singles use things and blah blah blah, because we don't have that facility. Like, if we keep replacing one mattress to another mattress, but people who using not conscious, we just create another problem. It's like you close one hole and then you dig another hole, and you know you don't know how to close the. You just create another problem. So I will never see this problem on the material. I always see this problem as the people, the human social behavior, who the one need to change. That's the core for Indonesia. Yeah.
But technically, I can see that our network can have one quite good strength, because if we have the information, we have the data about the waste, where it is, what it contains from. Actually, this can be a quite good source also for all kinds of business companies, for recycling, for getting resources, and also to get knowledge how to maybe be more efficient, how to produce, first point, less waste, but also where to find the resources for recycling, because as you know, in many countries there lies millions of tons of glass on the ground, but even metal, that is pure money, and it's very easy to recycle. And also plastics and all kinds of other resources, they probably could be much more easier and cheaper to recycle than to create from the scratch. And this can be quite a good business opportunity for very close future. And if we are able to handle the data and provide the data for the business community as well, what are the opportunities? Then this could be quite good opportunity.
Yes.
I want to ask if anybody is willing to open the microphone and comment in or to share or reflect your thoughts. Or seems to be that most of the people prefer to listen.
Hello,
Hello.
again, Liz from Austria. I have a question actually to Estonia, to Let's Do It.
Yes.
I wanted to know, are you planning to have a registration form like for every country? And I don't mean like this registration form you set up last year, where people would go to your platform and register there, because it was kind of confusing. However, I wanted to know if there is anything that you are planning to have like a registration platform so that every country can use it themselves and have like all the data, etc., and also translate it into their languages. Because I feel it's I know that some countries have their own databases, etc., but it's like I feel we are all programming the same wheel all the time. And
correct, Liz.
Yes. So
yes,
what are you planning?
Yes, this is actually exactly what I'm planning. So technically, the registration system, it needs to involve different parties or windows or doors for the volunteers to join in, and clearly one of those should be easily embeddable source of code that any organization or any Let's Do It world partner organization or country can embed to their systems, website, even a mobile app. So technically, because for the registration, we don't need to ask too many questions, and we can share some kind of universal platform for everybody. They could simply take in, embed, and use without any specific regulations. The only thing we have to handle is all kinds of data regulation rules. When we are about to exchange information between different countries or between different organizations, then we have to decide if the people's data will be moved, or will it be only like facts and figures. When it's only about numbers, then it's easy. But when we are about to exchange any information regarding people's names or email addresses or other data, then we have to be very specific and follow all those GDPR and other information protection rules are placed in the world. And but technically, this is also not too complex problem, because we simply need to ask people their permission for everything we are planning to do with their information. But yes, the short answer is yes. That there should be such kind of plug-in for every kind of systems.
Okay, and when are you planning to do that? Because honestly, last year it was way too short time.
I agree.
You know, like there was such a short time to do it. And honestly, when we go out and ask for partners to join us, and this has to be like at the latest 6 months up front, you know. And if we say, oh, there is a platform and you can register and everything, but then the platform starts like a month before that or a couple of weeks before that, it's just not it's like it's such a short time, you know. So when are you planning to do that, or do you have plans to do that for this year? because right now we are looking to have registration platform which is better than the last one. Last year we did it differently. We had our own registration platform that we just, it was just on WordPress, and then it was such a mess to work with all that data. At the end we were so frustrated because it was so much more work, to deal with the data than the actual cleanup, which is insane. So that's why we would like to know is, are you planning to have this registration platform for all the countries, or like something like something that we can implement in our own websites and just copy and paste, you know what I mean, instead of having to get like the resources, the funding to do a database from a developer, etc. So yeah, my question
Yes.
would be when.
So at the moment we are wrapping up the technical setup, and I completely agree that the system should be in place the sooner the better. And I hope we can share some news with the network before the end of February, how we are going to continue. And clearly, as the World Cleanup Day will be in the middle of September, from my perspective, the latest when we have the framework in place, or the decisions in place, or message how we are going to continue, this should be there somewhere latest in April, because all the preparation work will start well before the summer, and for the most of the countries the setup and all the preparation will start somewhere in June or even sooner. So technically we need to be ready as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Yeah, that will be good. It's because Indonesia, people think the data will so big and etc. etc. Actually, it takes us how long? More than a month to count the numbers. Yeah, it's a lot. So if there's a way to make things more efficient, definitely would be great. Yeah.
But still, we have one big challenge is that all the people will be signing in like one big wave, commonly weeks, but technically most commonly days before the event. So this is the challenge we have to face. Of course, we need to prepare everything in months before, but all the communication phase, and also as the cleanup day is only one day, then people tend to have their thoughts about the event or everything in the so-called last hours. So it means that the system has to be quite strong to handle all those people joining in. And also it has to withstand all the pressure from outside to give back the information, and also to take in all the information. But this is a technical issue we have to face, and I'm sure it's doable and achievable, as there are probably thousands of systems in the world having millions of users in ideal situation. So any more thoughts or reflections or questions?
I can share if you like, so maybe that may help to ask some questions as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You like. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Just I won't take too long. I think Adi did a super job, and I must confess. And I'm definitely very far behind. So I'm Henry Tay from Malaysia. Pretty new still in this. This is probably my first year in this, but I've been doing community work. Just a quick background so you know where I'm coming in from the volunteer registration point of view. So I've been doing community work for quite a number of years, about 20 years, even though I still look pretty young. But one of the things we've discovered is that we used to do things very manually, and we went to semi-manual, and we are realizing that the more manual and semi-manual we are doing, we can't really use the data to be very firm in talking to governments and to corporates. So we feel that everything is like a bit hush-hush and the numbers can't be justified and can't be shown with evidence. So we've started from last year to go fully into digitization and to invest into digitization. Are you able to hear me, by the way?
By the way, we hear you very well.
Okay, your picture is just
Yes.
not moving, just to make sure.
Yeah.
So since last year, we've been moving into the full plan of digitization, not because we want to spend more money, but because we wanted to bite the bullet up front for the fact that if we don't really have a large number of volunteers doing this, even the corporates and the government doesn't take this seriously, regardless of how big the agenda, how important the agenda of cleanups may be. And at the same time, I'm not sure about Indonesia and other countries like Austria, or even other countries. Generally, there are a lot of other environmental NGOs as well. And admittedly, coming in new, I can see that there are also NGOs that are not fully aligned. So for us to just depend on them to do the services and to give us feedbacks alone, and the accuracy of the feedbacks based on our recent event last year, we saw the event, but we didn't think the event was as impactful or as transparent as we like it to be. So I think in hindsight, we still feel that it's important to digitize, and it's important for us to register for all the reasons I've explained, whether it's for government justification, for corporate sponsorships, for impacts, for creating a movement of bringing people together. So whatever the reasons are, especially with the pandemic, we feel that we are still on the right track, but of course, it's a big learning curve for us. So I must say that I want to commend Indonesia for being able to do it in any fashion that they have done, because it's still an incredible task that they have achieved. All right. So coming back to our site, so that I keep focus on that 5-7 minutes. I won't show you much slides other than you can see the website on mhfhuman.org, which is really the name of Malaysian Humanitarian Foundation.
Sorry, Henry, not yet. If you plan to share.
Sorry, I put it on the group chat. You can see on the group chat.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, if you scroll it to the top. And we were in the early days, we were focused on community services regarding disabled people, elderly, hospice, and orphans with volunteers. In the last 5 years, we've decided to take that and wrap it around animals and the environment, because we see them to be interconnected. All right, so basically it allows volunteers to choose whichever things that they like to do so that they are sustainable throughout the year. And we are working on using the environment to wrap the whole thing around, where even a normal volunteer with a family can go out with a disabled person to even do cleanups. So we create a sort of a corporate environment or a family environment or a friend environment to do it. All right, so digitization for registration to us is inevitable, because if we don't have factual information given to them, to the government or to the corporates, I don't think people will take us seriously, and I don't think we can sustain that 5% vision that headquarters is expecting or hoping for all the countries to be able to hold. Because if we have 5% in Malaysia, it would mean 1.6 million volunteers. And if we have 1.6 million volunteers without a proper system, we will actually need more than 10,000 volunteers to manage the event on that day. Right, so which is going to cost us more money, and we're going to create more chaos for ourselves. And that is something we've experienced over time. So on one hand, we want to make it really fun. On the other hand, we also need to make it very formal for the fact that different people come to us for different reasons. Okay. What are the main objective of registration is really to hold the volunteers, to support the volunteers, to sustain the volunteers, and to recognize the volunteers. These are the 4 pillars that we want the system to do. in fact, if we don't have this registration system, all the other parts will have difficulties to come together. We may have all the right intentions, but the outcome may be dangerously negative. And the PR to that will be very difficult to manage. And we have also faced that last year, by the way, because we could not take on another 10,000 volunteers because they all came in 48 hours, 1 week before the event. Okay, so lots of learning lessons. I think your conversation just now was very, very real for me as well, because most people do register very last minute, and they expect you to give them everything in an ABC format. Okay, so coupled with the COVID situation, and now Malaysia is under lockdown, just to share with you, and is even classified as an emergency, national emergency, I mean. This physical cleanups and the virtual cleanups, we need to plan it together. So if things improve, it's great to do physical. If things do not improve, we need to prepare for it to be done virtually. All right, so I think we need to do that. Otherwise, we will be slipping away from this and not confronting the issues of how to be helpful. What are the main considerations? Just to share with you in terms of criteria for registration. We already have a system running, just to share with you. It's not perfect. We are tweaking, we have invested money into it, and we are testing it and testing it and testing it. And we need this to be robust enough to take millions of people, at least 1.6 million. All right, and assuming they all come in at the same time and they're all last minute. All right, and of course in Malaysia, I'm not sure about other countries, they are particular about PDPA. I think it's something that I've shared with Raimo before, where volunteers come in, they need to know who they sign up with. And
Correct,
if
yes.
they don't sign up, and if they have an accident in our event, who is responsible? And if we pass the information forward, and if things went wrong, who is also responsible? So the government, we had some meetings with the government agencies. They've asked us some of those questions. We knew the answer, but we didn't want to say too much until I have our conversations with HQ. Okay. So what are our considerations? I think that's probably what I can share with you that we are trying to put together by this year. We are trying to lean a lot to the volunteers to be empowered. We do not feel that we should do a lot of the hand-holding, but we need to use digital to hand-hold them so that they can come to us on the last minute and they get the ABC very clearly last minute and punctually. All right. So we do not want to have 1 million people and we need 10,000 volunteers to help us. We need to have the same 10% helping us with 1.5 million or 1.6 million volunteers, because the system has already been planned for it through the registration. Number two, we need to work through leaders. And again, they need to be trained regularly. So they cannot be only trained for 19th of September. They need to be trained on role play every month, even if there is no 19th of September. So we are preparing all the training programs for newbies, for amateurs, intermediate, beginners, and advanced leaders. Again, to be empowered, because when they feel empowered, they will want to do more, and that will also be the right model because we can't be doing the caring for them. All right. The next one is in Malaysia. I'm not sure about other countries. Maybe a little bit easier, maybe in Indonesia, but we do have to face issues of culture, generation, gender, income, and now even possibly race and belief. Means what are our priorities? We need to find something to pull them together so that they see it as positive, and we don't talk about the differences, we talk about what brings us together. Right? When things are tough, we need to find things that pull us together and not separate us anymore. So we need to find a unifying tool, and I think we are identifying that already. Of course, for us, we want to be upfront and we want to admit that we can't do everything ourselves. Even if we want to put in $10 million, we still can't do everything ourselves. So we are very clear that we want to take a collaborative approach, even though we are building towards having a self-sustainable digitization platform. All right. So we are definitely not wanting to do this alone, and we want to be working under collaboration and synergizing rather than to be competitive, to even other countries or even with other NGOs. We want to go into the collaborative mode. As far as the information is concerned, we have checked with our lawyers. We need to be very careful between open information and PDPA, because there are some slight differences in PDPA also between countries. So if we want to do something between HQ and ourselves, I'd definitely like to have a working session on that and learn from the other countries as well as far as PDPA is concerned. Key thing for us, by the way, I'm not sure whether this is an important thing for WCD, but for us, we think a sustainable way, other than to bring something positive to the volunteers, is to recognize them, is to properly train them, and to also link them to jobs and businesses. Because most people in Malaysia now may have problems with only having one job and not having enough income. So if somebody is caring, if somebody is a leader, if somebody is helping the community, technically speaking, they should be very valuable to companies, right? Because they are a team player, they can work with people of different types. So this recognition and registration program becomes very important. And that's why we want to see how to pack that even to certification, even if it's at a very minimum level. All right, so we are building all of this. We have piloted that last year, and we are trying to see how to make it better. Social enterprise working, by the way, is the way we want to go, because at the end of the day, I'm not sure about all the other organizations. We are a little fortunate, we have the money, but we can't be using the money for it to be burnt. We need to put the money in for it to be self-generating. All right, so we are working very hard on that, and we are making some tough decisions, because in Malaysia, I'm not sure again, in other countries, almost 10 to 15% of the NGOs have had no choice but to shut down, because they could not get the donation, they could not get the funding, and they could not keep their staffs. All right, so I'm not sure what is the climate like in the next 12 months. All right, so we need to prepare for the worst and hope for the best kind of scenario. All right, getting the volunteers involved, we prefer not for them to do it only on the 19th. We really need them to do small things and medium things throughout the year, because if we don't do that, really, most of them are just doing it like a fun activity that doesn't have much impact. To be frank, I think the one we had last year, it was an event, we counted the numbers, but if I put my hand to my heart, I don't think the impact will be something that HQ will be very excited with. Okay, so it's really about how to find ways of sharing and caring, how to develop selflessness versus selfishness. Not to say one is better than the other, but of course, once you help more people, we hope that more people will be cared for, and starting with the environment, of course. We are definitely putting a reward program into our volunteers' work, which comes with recognition, and it has to be somewhat converted to monetary, just to be clear, not just appreciation on words or by certificates. For us, we are particular for the registration to do it quickly, because if 2030 for 5% of the population is important, actually we don't really have much time. 9 years may sound very long, but every year is going by very quickly. So if we don't have a united approach in working with people with different strengths coming together, I am honestly not sure we can even get the 5%. I don't want to be saying that in the year 2029. I rather say it today. So I think because our board asked us all these questions under very frank conversations, and I think we all want to be very honest about this. So in that sense, this registration thing may sound very simple, but it's really a very important keystone that will make or break us. Without this piece, whatever good intentions we have, we will not likely be able to hold it. We do also need to handle on the registration, just to share with you, between the youth, the adults, and the seniors, and the people with disabilities. They are clearly in 4 different segments of the market, and they all have different interests. We need to not put everybody into a blanket. We need to have them in sections, but we need to narrow in, because without knowing exactly what they like and what makes them tick, they will not want to be part of us for a long time. They may just come in for an event and they drop out. All right, and that's where I feel that it will be a lot of resources wasted if every year we work with new volunteers. we should be working with the same volunteers and building them to another level while bringing in new volunteers, right? Because that's really where the movement will take place, the belief will take place, and the excitement actually will take place. What else? I'm finishing soon. Training, recognition, helping them, giving them jobs. Just to share with you, we have already piloted in our website where we allow people to register our campaigns and events online. Some are free, some they have to pay. We allow them to take on services, some of which they pay, some of which are free. We make it very clear. And we are also going to do that for products because we are working with organizations that are needing help to promote their products that are related to recycling and upcycling. All right. So again, lots of volunteers are talented. They may have a great idea. We may want to seed their business so that they can be using that to build a business while they have their passion in the environment. All right. So we are seeding almost 10 companies right now in Malaysia under the social enterprise model, and we want to seed that to about 100 of them. All right. What else? All the things that we do for registration, just to share with you, they are ever ready, able to switch on and switch off. We are not asking anybody to be obliged to sign up with us so that they are forever with us. If they feel that we are not effective, they are welcome to switch off. And we want to spend a lot of time engaging NGOs that are similar to us and to bridge that, because we see that to be something we need to work hard, and we hope that digitization will connect to them better if we can show a more literal way of synergy. All right. So we are in a sense still learning every day. We are taking the approach that we are prepared to learn, and we want to work. We'd love to do it with Indonesia if we have that chance, as well as other countries, and share whatever we have. Love to do it also with you guys through a social enterprise that generates you income, because we honestly feel that that's really the answer of the future. We prefer volunteers, especially if they are at the back office. I'm not sure about a person like Abi. I'm not sure whether you're a volunteer or you're paid. If you're a volunteer and paid, we definitely want to find people who are paid. And if they don't want to be paid, they can donate the money. So in that sense, we need to professionalize the volunteerism so that the commitment and passion is all balanced. And no point having a lot of passion and they can't even feed themselves and take care of their families. So the last one is really with the government. I'm not sure about Indonesia. I think you may be in a better position as you will be in many other countries. Malaysia right now, because of the emergency and there's a little bit of a political situation, there may be 3 to 4 different political parties that have emerged over the last 2 years. So in that sense, the clarity is not there. So we can't be seen to be taking sides to one government or the other. We need to stay on course to the work. And we work with whoever is government of the day. And we must make sure we are above everybody in terms of governance, audit. Otherwise, it will be a difficult challenge because there are additional things added to because of the COVID. So I'd just like to maybe finish with that, and happy to take on questions. And I hope I've asked some questions also to everybody who is listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Henry, for that passionate and also very inspiring thoughts and speech you had. Just please one quick question to Henry, because we are a little bit short of time, so we need to finish up because this channel will be taken over after 27 minutes by others, but they need to prepare as well. So does anybody have a question?
I have something to say.
Please, Andy.
Hello. Actually, it's not so much about questions, but actually, I could see Henry's position where we were still so new in the movement, like 3 or 4 years ago, where like no government support and it was really fresh, no solid team yet, and everything like stuff like that. So I would give several inputs. Maybe if the government is not ready, it's okay, just like leave them. Because in Indonesia team, we always like have the mindset the government don't care. So we always do by ourselves until it big enough, it caught their attention. So when we big and we start being recognized, they have no choice, they have to get involved. That's what attitude that we have. And then it's funny because Indonesia and Malaysia is so close, but then I don't really know what's going on with Malaysia, and I'm so glad that Henry shared to me, and I can understand what's actually going on over there. Yeah, about the demographic and the different like ages or like different sector of the demographic is I can totally relate because I'm from Medan and I used to also grow up in Malaysia. I used to live in Penang for when I was young. So I actually know not maybe as much as Henry, but I would say I know enough about the situation in Malaysia regarding of like the race issues, the belief, and so I actually have quite similar with Indonesia. But maybe I will give several tips towards Henry or Malaysia team is that in Indonesia also we face the same challenge in terms of the race and belief. Like I'm Chinese descendant and I'm the minorities actually here. But then in our core team in national, we are really not selective, but I would say selectively, but not that selective. Is we create like a mini prototype of our country. So in our core team, we have like people from different ages, different belief, and different races. Like the leader Agustina, she's from Aceh, she's Muslim, and she's from a Chinese tribe, and I'm Chinese descendant, and I'm from Medan, and I'm Buddhist. And then all these each people like have totally different backgrounds. So we always try to diversify our team. So when we have our own people in the team, the people who relate to let's say the belief or the race or the religion, they see, oh, my brother or like my sister is in that organization, I want to join. That's really important. But if we have like all the teams like all like say all Muslim or like all the same race, then people don't want to join. So that's actually really important. We have to diversify and about the 5% and the in Malaysia, like I could see Malaysia is much more aware and much more developed in terms of the people awareness compared to the Indonesia one. Like we still like down there. So and plus you in the pandemic situation, I would say maybe you can switch the strategy, not clean up, but doing like waste sorting at home, because actually Indonesia have like 2 split program. That's how we can still achieve millions, is because we have for the region that doesn't get hit by the pandemic, the island is safe, they can go out and clean up. But if like let's say Jakarta, like big cities, like totally locked down, blah blah blah, no one can go out, the volunteers can still participate with the event, but they do it at home, which is waste sorting at home or doing something like zero waste lifestyle kind of thing. So we take the moment to adjust, like to make something out of it. And I think Malaysia is much more advanced. The people much more critical, toward this all this kind of thing. But I would say you guys on the next level in terms of awareness, like whereas we still have to educate.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, we can talk more. Yeah, we can talk more because
Okay.
So
Yeah.
thank you, everybody. So unfortunately, we have to finish here. But if you will, we can continue in the lobby. I have to take over the next session with with a game continuing. But thank you everybody, and have a good night, because in Asia it's I think 1 o'clock.
1:38
1:38. So you have already the new day. In Europe and Africa, it's still Friday. So have a good weekend. For some, it's
Okay,
already
keep in
started.
touch. Stay
Thank you.
safe. Bye.
Stay safe and keep clear of fog. Thank you all. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.